welcome to an emergency edition of the HPTV podcast. This is serious-ish.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Thus, we have not even been able to get a hold of Steven, so it's Mitchell and Jamie for it. We have casting news that is not confirmed by HBO, but it comes from a very legitimate source. Deadline is literally the one source for casting news. Maybe Hollywood Reporter would do it, but they wouldn't report something unless it was nearly a sure thing. So you feel good that this like a contract is in an agent's hands, and if it falls through, it's because unless maybe they leaked it in case of backlash. But I'm beating around the bush. The idea is that John Lithgow will play Albus Dumbledore. Key things about John: he is 79 years old, and he is American. But he is probably the two American performances as British that I can think of that are approved are Bridget Jones and John Lithgow as Winston Churchill in The Crown, which he won Emmys for, and I don't know if he won BAFTAs, but it's a pretty high approval rating over here as well. So, Jamie, what are your initial thoughts on Third Rock from the Sun Dad being Dumbledore?
I love John Lithgow. I love Third Rock from the Sun. I loved him as Churchill. Watched that whole thing. I don't love this. I just don't see it. I'm looking through the Reddit right now. People are not loving this. I know it's a big deal for a lot of people that they're British, and especially for British people. But that doesn't bother me. I think as long as they can do a good accent, we have plenty of people that come over to America and they do fine. And so
I think, like, how often does an American get to play a famous American? Our presidents get played by British people. Martin Luther King gets played by British people. Like, the British are good actors. Obviously, they train classically, and they over-index in the amount of great actors that are British compared to the population of England and the Western world that creates those films. They obviously punch above their weight. So I don't mind stealing one role. My concern,
and we know he can do it. I don't know. People might argue with us and not think that he did a good accent, and that's a very distinctive accent, Churchill, as well.
Yeah.
So
sure, it's more of a character, full on.
And I can see him being you need someone with that directness, but also someone who can be kind and humble, and and I feel like I could see that from him. I mean, and someone brought up a good point in the Reddit that he's going to be pushing 90 by the time this is done. And the rumor we had just heard is that they were looking for someone in their 60s so that could kind of play them up. And I liked that as well, because when we get Dumbledore later as younger, they could kind of play down there. And obviously, like computers and everything, there's things that can be done. So I don't know. I don't love it, but I like that it's a good actor. I like that it's someone who I think would probably want something consistent. And I think he would do a good job, but it's not at all that wouldn't even come through my mind as an idea.
I believe it. I think the only issue I have is the age. I just believe that he could carry the wisdom, he could carry the presence, he has gravitas, and Dumbledore's a little bit cheeky at times, and I think he certainly has that down. So I'm generally pro, but yeah, being 79, that would mean, if it only takes a decade to shoot, because again, they could shoot something and us not see it for 18 months at the very end there. He is going to be quite old when it ends, and he's supposed to be still moving around quite a bit. Like, you're almost asking for a recast. I think they said someone in their 60s, and people die in their 70s, so you never know. But I think if they even would have gone someone late 50s that you could age up a little bit, or already just kind of looks weathered and old, a smoker, and then you could age him down. You could do some different
makeup and stuff is pretty good now. Think of when he played Churchill, he did pretty good. Or even when Gary Oldman, and we just were talking in our chat about Gary Oldman, who there kind of been an interview where it was mentioned that he would do Dumbledore, could do Dumbledore, and even someone like that is, and both of these are very good character actors. And what the article says is that he's in final negotiations. So this isn't set. Something could still go wrong. And HBO has not made a comment. So I don't think Deadline. Oh, did they?
They made a comment by declining a comment. They said, "We appreciate that such a high profile series will draw in a lot of rumor and speculation. As we make our way through pre-production, we will only confirm details as we finalize deals." So they wouldn't comment until it's pen to paper. And it's not, but I just can't imagine Deadline would have put this out unless it
Yeah,
was
that's what I'm saying.
extremely.
Deadline, I would trust to do their research. They wouldn't just throw this out.
I did read something today that they're going to be doing chemistry reads through March. Now, I'm much more worried about the trio's chemistry within them than I am like them with Dumbledore. That's something you trust Lithgow with, is working with a kid probably and having good chemistry no matter what. But it is interesting because we heard a couple names really early on for Dumbledore that were rumors, but they were in fairly legitimate places where you probably believe, okay, these discussions probably are happening. And so this one kind of came out of left field all of a sudden. Yeah, as we were talking about Gary Oldman's kind of like referred to it, saying he would do it. Jason Isaacs has been in the press the last few days, essentially saying that he knows some casting is happening. So I'll be interested to see if some more names start to drop in the next few days. But if they're not truly landing on a trio for another month, that's a short turnaround if they're going to shoot summer, because latest that means is early September to start, and I guess late September if we're being specific. And then, the more that happens, the more it makes me think the late 2026 would be tougher to get to, especially if they try and shoot season 1 and 2 back to back. But again, I think this could be successful, but he might be too old. I have no problem with him being American. I think he's a great actor that I'm sure would bring it together. I'm curious what he'll look like with the beard and everything.
Well, and I think too with he's kind of ideal. Like, he has a comedy background. He has good timing, which we want from a Dumbledore. Not that Dumbledore's popping off jokes, but he's like, he has a silly moment here, some dad jokes, moments that we like. But he also can have that firmness and hopefully not yelling at Harry for his name coming out of the Goblet of Fire. But anyway, but I can see it all. Like, you need someone that can like go face to face with Voldemort, but also speak to an 11-year-old boy who's freaked out because he just found out like the most horrible person in the world is trying to kill him, who would kill his family. So I could see both those things from him, but he is older than what I thought, and that scares me a little bit because the big moments we need from Dumbledore are in the later books, 5,
They're
6.
literally, the idea would be 10 years from now, he's going to be shooting something where he probably needs the most energy, where he flies a broom in the 6th, and he leads Harry through all that. I guess technically Dumbledore's not, it's all flashback in Deathly Hallows, but they're going to shoot that then.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they'll have Jude Law and Johnny Depp do those scenes,
I want Jude Law so bad. That's my Dumbledore. I would just love it if they just threw Jude Law in there, aged him up, put him back down. You could connect to Bad Fantastic Beasts too. I don't freaking care.
I watched Grand Budapest Hotel the other day, and I was like, wow, Jude Law is he's everywhere.
I love Jude Law. I think he's such a good actor. So, yeah, that's news.
Yeah, this could be the first shoe to drop. We'll see if some sort of sudden reversal comes out, or if if it was leaked and then they kind of felt it out. If the only backlash is that it is American, I really don't care. If they really factor in the age, which they feel like it also came from legitimate sources, they were looking for someone else young, it'll be interesting. And there's not really another old character for him to play if this is like a mistaken identity thing. And he obviously is a massive name. He has such a great filmography. He can do anything. So we'll see. I'm fairly pro the idea. I just feel like it's going to lead to another recast.
I am, for this being like the first name we've heard that it sounds as like closest to permanent, like in negotiations, final negotiations, I am kind of happy to hear that it's a bigger name, because I'm sure within this whole, especially with HBO and Warner Brother, who don't mind dropping things completely if they're not working out, they don't seem to care, or cutting down episodes of series and stuff. I'm happy to hear this is a big name and someone that they can get behind.
Maybe this is just what he wants to do with the rest of his life. He wants to live in London, and he wants to be like, I'll do one role, less travel. I can just settle into this one thing. And yeah, the people are like, oh, I can't imagine him. I think he's just that good of an actor that it could, like, I don't act like I'm still working on picturing it in my head. We'll put it in AI later and let it show me. John Lithgow as Dumbledore.
The face app beard.
Well, anyway, that was worth it. You know, just a few quick minutes to run down, possibly, and you almost have to say likely, the first very important shoe to drop, a character that is in all 7 books, and he's top 5 critical. So it could be our boy John repping America in England, just like me. That's what do Mitchell and John Lithgow have in common? Representing America in England.
Maybe you guys will be neighbors. You never know.
I shouldn't say where I live, but not in. A lot of famous people live in Richmond, so you know Tom Holland. Maybe I'll run into him. Tom Hardy too. Hannah just reminded me. The secretary from Call the Midwife we ran into once. So really, we're in a hotbed of fame.
Watch yourselves.
All right, that's going to be it for a quick emergency podcast of the HPTV, and we'll have another episode that will go up. We'll put this one up as soon as possible, and then we're going to have another one tomorrow, a full-length one that we recorded before. That's pretty much ready to go.
Peace out, snitches.